Can a nonprofit take advantage of the solar energy tax credit? The answer used to be no, but now it's yes. Let's go over it. My name's Pete, and I'm a renewable energy lawyer with 25 years experience in financial markets and mergers and acquisitions. And I'm going to go over this part of the transaction with you. So as you may know, many solar dealers are financed with what's called a tax equity financing. So assume this transaction costs $100,000 and the project sponsor would put up 70%. The tax equity investor, usually somebody like JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs, would put up another 30%. And in exchange for that, they get to claim the tax credit. So the credit is 30% of the value of the project in the year that it's finished. So as I said, if this is a $100,000 project, they would be entitled to a $30,000 tax credit, not a deduction, a credit. So somebody like JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs, who pays a lot of taxes, will say, I will give you $30,000 instead of giving it to the government. And in exchange, I will get your $30,000 credit, and you will have financed this for less than it normally would cost. And then after 6 years, normally we do this flip, and the project sponsor will own 95% of the transaction, and the tax equity investor owns 5%. So again, they took something, $30,000 that would have gone to Uncle Sam, and they would get nothing for it. And in exchange, they paid $30,000 and they got an ongoing interest in this forever and ever. Sounds like a good deal, right? The problem is that if you don't have taxes that you pay, you're a nonprofit, you're a church, a university, things like that, you had been excluded from these transactions before. So the tax equity is not going to benefit you if you don't have any tax. However, due to a change under the Biden administration, the Inflation Reduction Act, now nonprofits, schools, churches can all take advantage of the same thing that the big boys do. How does that work? Prior to the changes under the Biden administration, a nonprofit like a school, university, church that wanted to take advantage of the solar energy tax credits would have to do some legal drafting and partner with a private company in order to get it done. And legal drafting and creating separate structures creates legal uncertainty and adds a great deal of cost to the transaction, which could make it unattractive for many people to use. But now with direct pay, the nonprofit can finance it, set it up, everything themselves, and they will get either a direct payment for the tax credit, or they can sell the tax credit to somebody else. Until recently, the tax credits were not transferable, so the investor would have to be somebody who can use the tax credits themselves. However, recent changes have made the tax credits transferable, so you can sell them on the open market to somebody who wants it. Prior to the Inflation Reduction Act passed by President Biden, the amount of tax credit that you would get was going down 26%, 22%, and would be 0% after 2024. However, under the Inflation Reduction Act passed by President Biden, it's currently 30% of the value of the project when it's completed up until 2032. And after that, it would drop to 26%, then 22%, and then 0% after 2035. So this is just another way to visualize that. 2022 to 2032, 30%, and then it drops after that, and 0% after 2035. So if you are a church, a school, a nonprofit that has some property where you want to invest solar panels and you would like to either get this direct credit or get a credit that you can sell to somebody else, how would that work? You'd have to fill out this form with the IRS, which is 99T. You can find it on the IRS website. I'll try to put a link to it in the comments. And this is the form that the nonprofit would fill out, and it would entitle them to receive the tax credit as a direct payment instead of the credit on their taxes. So normally with the solar credits, if you are a taxpayer, you would get an offset on your taxes, but if you did not owe taxes, you would not be able to use this. But nonprofits with this form and the changes in the law, they can receive a direct payment for the amount that they would have been entitled to an offset on the taxes. And if you don't owe many taxes this year, it still benefits you in other ways to get the tax credit. With the tax credit, you can get a 1 year roll back and several years roll forward, so you can use that up eventually. But as I said, the tax credits are also now transferable, so you can sell them on the open market. So that's the question answered. Can a nonprofit take advantage of the solar energy tax credits? Like and subscribe. I'll be putting out more videos about renewable energy, solar and wind, and you'll get updates as I do. Thank you.